Hi there guys, it's the Drew Gamer here. So I was tagged in a video by Pokrates, Jon Dan of Pokrates, to do a trainer team of what I would use and where I would live in the Pokemon universe. And I think it's a really cool idea. It helps spread positivity, especially during this horrible time where we're all quarantined and there's a lockdown and we're just all kind of, probably at this point we're probably just all getting kind of cabin feverish, so it's not great. I apologize if I keep looking down as well because I've had to move my camera and I'm not used to my camera being over there. So first up, the first question is, where would I live in the Pokemon universe and why? So I thought long and hard about this. There's so many places in the Pokemon universe I love. I love Bologna, or Bologna, I'm not sure how you actually pronounce it, because it's just like a beautiful, magical looking place. And there's lots of other places in there that I would love to live in. New Barktown would be one as well, because that just kind of reminds me of Gold and Silver and Crystal, which were like, as much as I started with Kanto, I started with Red, Blue and Yellow. I just wouldn't, I would more associate myself with Johto than I would for that. But the place that I did pick was Postwick from Pokemon Sword and Shield, because Postwick is very, very similar to my town. Like, the outskirts of my town, there's lots of farm life, there's a lot of countryside, there's a lot of woods next to it, and it just kind of reminded me of my hometown, sort of. It's like, where I live is a bit more residential, but just like 5 minutes down the road you go out and there's just like farms everywhere, and it just reminded me of that. So honestly, I would pick Postwick, and it's right next to the Sleeping Wood, and the Sleeping Wood Tangle, the Slumbering Well. That's what I can't remember what it's called, which would just remind me of the forests. And then you have like Route 1, which is like the country lanes going down to places, and then it moves on to Wedgehurst, which I could kind of associate that with being my local little town, because Congleton's like, it's made up of like smaller little towns within the town, and there's a lot of different places in it that they're just actually stunning, even though like there's not a lot here for a lot of stuff, like we don't have a theatre or anything like that. But I would still pick Postwick as my location for where I would live in the Pokemon universe, because it just reminds me of home, and obviously like Gallo's based on the UK as well, so it just kind of fits. And then the second question is, what would your team be within the Pokemon universe? And this is honestly one of the hardest questions I have ever been asked, because my mind when it comes to teams is just like, it really is. And then now that I'm having to build a team based on like everything within the Pokemon universe, it's really hard. But I did narrow it down, so that's one good thing. So first up, we have the Mudkip line, because Mudkip is my absolute favorite Pokemon, or one of my absolute favorite Pokemon, and I would obviously have it, and it would evolve into Marshtomp and Swampert eventually. So that's why I've just put like, I'm gonna cover like the lines of Pokemon rather than just like one specific Pokemon, or at least for some of my Pokemon I am. So Mudkip would be my number one choice, and like the idea behind Mudkip as well, not just because it's my favorite. It could help water the fields. If, like, say, if I did live on a farm, or if I was growing my own crops or anything, it could help water it, and that would be a really cool idea just to have. So I kind of like tried to think of ideas of why I'd have the Pokemon, for some of them at least. Next up would be Gengar, the Gastly Hunter Gengar line, because again, that is something that I love. I've always loved Gengar. He's one of my absolute favorite Pokemon of all time, and if I didn't have it, it would be kind of a travesty not to have a Gengar. So I've gone Gengar, and that would just be more, he'd just be obviously more like mischievous, and he'd just be like running around causing havoc. But I would still have a Gengar. It's just like, you can even see it here, like on my plus shelf, there's a Gengar like right in prime view. And so I would have to have a Gengar, I think. Then next up we have Rowlet. What's this middle form called? Rowlet. Oh no, I've forgotten its name. So basically the Rowlet line. So like Rowlet is middle form. Oh my god, why have I forgotten its name? And Decidueye. So let's just go with that. That's embarrassing. So obviously I love Rowlet. Rowlet is one of my favorite Pokemon, and even though it's like another ghost, I would really just love it. I love Decidueye. I love the idea behind Decidueye, and it's so cool. I love the fact that it's an archer, and again, like another idea behind it. If it was a Rowlet, starting off with a Rowlet, it could help in the fields. It could help cut down shrubs and stuff when using like flying moves. It could help plant seeds and stuff, and that's gonna really annoy me. And then it evolved into its second form, and then it evolved into Decidueye. So eventually it evolved into Decidueye, and that I would love that so much. You know, just like be those are my top three, and then it kind of starts getting a bit harder. So up next I have Houndour. And honestly, I'd probably keep it as a Houndour. I love Houndoom, like absolutely love Houndoom, but I like the idea of just having a dog, and just like, especially on like a farm or like in the countryside, just having a dog would be perfect. And I was originally going to pick Arcanine, but I was trying to space it out over generations as much as I could, and I would honestly probably pick Houndour, because I love the look of Houndour, and it could just be like the puppy that lives on the farm, and then it turns into the dog, and then eventually it probably would turn into a Houndoom, but I would honestly pick Houndour as just like a nice little dog. Well, it's not nice because it's a dark side, but I love Houndour. I love the look of Houndour, so he'd probably be the puppy that lives on the farm. And then, oh, this is hard, because this is where it splits down into very difficult. So as a flyer, because I think you'd need the ability to be able to fly around on the farms and stuff, and into like the region and going around the region, making it easier. It would either be obviously Corviknight, because Corviknight is just like a stunningly amazing Pokemon. I absolutely love Corviknight, and it's a Galar native, and I'd be living in Galar, so I need to at least have one Galar Pokemon in there. Oh, that's how my mind was working with it. But then on the other side of it, Togekiss, because Togekiss is, I love Togekiss, and I love the Togepi line, and I love the Rookidee line, and both of them just like, they're huge. Like Togekiss is massive, and it would be able to like fly you around easily without any issue. And it was a hard choice, because like I wanted to put Corviknight on there, but I wanted to put Togekiss on there, because Togekiss is, I just love Togekiss and I love Corviknight, and it kind of went like that with the final Pokemon as well. And it would either be Luxray or Toxtricity. Again, both of them, like, they're both electric types, and they're both my favorites from the respective regions. I love Garchomp as well, but I just thought like either Togekiss for getting around, or like an electric Pokemon. An electric type, the idea between Toxtricity and Luxray is that they would help generate power. If there was like a power outage, we could have our own electricity, and they could charge up the batteries and stuff. But it would be it's a hard decision between those four Pokemon, like the two flyers and the two electric types. Because I love them all so much, but I think if I was going Togekiss, then it'd be Toxtricity. If I was going Corviknight, it'd be Luxray, sort of thing. So then I have like one from Sinnoh and one from Galar, but it's a hard choice. I don't know what I'd pick, and I couldn't justify like what I'd use over another one. So that's my answer, is those sets of Pokemon. And then for the final question, I believe that it was, who would your partner Pokemon be? So you're looking at the team, and I'm gonna have to say Mudkip. So I'd say like I started off in Little Root Town in Hoenn, and then eventually like my family moved to Galar, and I ended up living on the farm with Mudkip and stuff, and just getting all these other Pokemon somehow. But Mudkip would be my choice. Honestly, I love Mudkip, and he's such a good Pokemon. And eventually, it'd be a Swampert. And in my head, I'm still thinking, who is Rowlet's second form? Why can't I remember that? Anyway, it'll have been like displayed on screen numerous times because like I can't remember it, and I'll just be like throwing it up on screen. So, so yeah, that is gonna be the end of it. I think, like I said, Mudkip, because out of my Pokemon that I chose, I love Mudkip the most, and it would just be the perfect partner Pokemon for me. And then eventually become a ground type as well, and he would be able to help with the fields and stuff. So it's just a all-around perfect Pokemon for me. And finally, what I need to do is I need to tag. I'm not sure how many people I need to tag, but I'm going to tag Sunaak, StickyKeyz, MetaMech, Shiny Parkie, and who else could I tag? Who else could I tag? And FastFoodHotline. So I'm going to tag those 5 people, and I hope you enjoyed it, everyone. It kind of helps to get to know me a bit better, and it gets everyone to sort of know each other as well a bit more. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you all in the next video.